You're about to waste thousands on a fridge that's secretly designed to die. The brands you think are safe, Samsung, LG, Whirlpool, are the same ones, leaving families with broken compressors and repair bills bigger than the fridge itself. These companies sell reliability while quietly cutting corners right under your nose. Today, I'm exposing the 8 refrigerator brands you must avoid at all costs, and the 2 that could actually save you hundreds, maybe thousands. Coming in at number 8, we've got Frigidaire, once a legend, now a gamble in every kitchen. Frigidaire used to be the name your grandparents swore by. Now it's more like playing Russian roulette with your grocery budget. The reliability has fallen off a cliff in recent years. Owners consistently report ice makers that jam within months, temperature control that swings wildly enough to spoil food, and compressors that fail right after the warranty ends. The build quality feels cheaper than it used to be. Plastic components, where metal should be, thinner shelving, and doors that don't seal as tightly as they should. Service calls are frequent enough to make you wonder if you bought a fridge or a subscription plan. Even mid-tier models that should represent decent value are plagued with electronic board failures and condenser coil issues that shouldn't happen this early in a product's life. Bought a Frigidaire gallery in early 2023. By month 6, the ice maker sounded like a blender full of rocks. By month 9, the fridge side wasn't holding temperature. Repair guys said it was a common board issue. Fixed under warranty, failed again 8 months later. The frustrating part is that Frigidaire still trades on that legacy name recognition. People buy it thinking they're getting the same quality their parents had. But the manufacturing has shifted. Corners have been cut, and what you're really getting is a mid-tier appliance with a first-tier failure rate. The French door models look beautiful in the store, but that aesthetic appeal fades fast when you're defrosting spoiled meat at midnight. Replacement parts take forever to arrive, and finding qualified repair techs who actually know these newer models is surprisingly difficult. The warranty coverage sounds decent until you read the fine print and realize how many common failures aren't actually covered. You end up paying out of pocket for problems that feel like manufacturing defects, not normal wear and tear. Once a household hero, now just another headache waiting to happen. And trust me, number 7 isn't much better. At number 7, LG. Flashy features that fizzle faster than your ice maker. LG loves to sell you on innovation. InstaView doors, ThinQ smart connectivity, craft ice spheres that belong in a cocktail bar. It's technological theater, and it falls apart under real-world use. The compressor failures are legendary at this point. LG had a class action lawsuit over linear compressors that died prematurely, and while they extended warranties, the underlying issue never fully went away. Owners report loud clicking sounds, warm temperatures that creep up slowly until food starts spoiling, and service waits that stretch for weeks. The smart features sound incredible until the app stops syncing, the Wi-Fi module drops connection, or the touchscreen interface freezes and requires a hard reset. Ice makers are another disaster. They either overproduce and jam, underproduce and leave you dry, or leak water into the freezer compartment where it freezes into unusable slabs. French door models with the door-in-door feature look sleek but add more seals, more hinges, and more failure points. The linear compressor was supposed to be quieter and more efficient. Instead, it became a reliability nightmare that cost owners thousands in repairs or replacements. Even models outside the lawsuit window still suffer from similar issues. The technology improves slightly, but the trust never recovered. Energy efficiency numbers look good on paper, but they don't mean much when the fridge can't maintain consistent temps. Customer reviews are filled with stories of units failing within 2 to 3 years. Right when the standard warranty expires and the extended warranty expires, compressor warranty becomes your only lifeline. LG's service network is inconsistent. Some areas have responsive texts. Others leave you waiting weeks for parts that may or may not fix the actual problem. Promises innovation, delivers repair bills. Next up, a brand that looks even better but performs even worse. Now at number 6, Samsung. Sleek on the outside, service nightmare on the inside. Samsung makes refrigerators that photograph like a dream and function like a slow-motion disaster. The designs are gorgeous. The interiors are spacious, and the features list reads like science fiction until reality sets in. Ice maker problems dominate owner complaints. Samsung's built-in ice makers freeze up constantly, requiring manual defrosting that shouldn't be necessary on a modern appliance. The fix is temporary, and within weeks or months, you're back to the same problem. Temperature inconsistencies are another plague. The fridge compartment runs too warm while the freezer overfreezes, or vice versa, with no clear pattern. Touchscreen controls fail or become unresponsive, leaving you unable to adjust basic settings. The Family Hub models with the giant screens are impressive in a showroom. But the screens develop dead pixels. The cameras inside stop working and software updates either don't arrive or break existing features. Repairs are expensive, and parts availability is inconsistent, leading to long waits where your food sits in coolers. The real kicker is that Samsung's customer service has a reputation for being difficult to work with. Warranty claims get denied over technicalities. Authorized repair centers are spread thin, and replacement parts can take weeks to arrive. When a $3,000 appliance fails, you expect support, not a runaround. The engineering fields rush to market, prioritizing aesthetics and feature counts over actual durability. Seals wear out faster than they should. Drawer tracks break under normal use. Electronic components fail at rates that suggest inadequate testing before launch. For all the innovation Samsung claims, they can't seem to master the basics of keeping food cold reliably for more than a few years. Beautiful design, brutal ownership experience, and somehow number 5 manages to disappoint even harder. Before we move on, if you want to make sure you don't waste a bunch of money, hit subscribe and thank me later. Sitting at number 5, Whirlpool dependable reputation, disappointing reality. Whirlpool built its name on reliability, but somewhere along the way, that promise got lost in the manufacturing shuffle. They're coasting on legacy credibility while delivering appliances that feel like downgrades. The build quality has noticeably declined. Shelves feel flimsier, plastic components crack easier, and the overall construction doesn't inspire confidence the way older Whirlpool models did. Defrost cycles malfunction more often than they should, leading to frost buildup in freezers that are supposed to be frost-free. Water dispensers leak or stop working entirely within the first couple of years. Temperature regulation is inconsistent, not catastrophically bad like some brands, but enough that you'll notice warm spots or frozen vegetables in the crisper drawer. The main issue is that, for the price point, you're not getting the value you expect. These refrigerators cost as much as more reliable competitors, but deliver a noticeably inferior experience. Repair frequency is higher than it should be for a brand that markets itself as the dependable choice. Whirlpool wants you to believe you're buying American-made durability, but the reality is that many components are sourced globally, and quality control has slipped. The side-by-side models are particularly prone to issues. Sealed systems fail, evaporator fans make noise, and control boards die young. For what you're paying, there are better options that won't leave you second-guessing your purchase. The warranty feels standard on paper, but when you need to use it, you'll discover how many exclusions and conditions are buried in the terms. Parts are often back-ordered. Service appointments get rescheduled. The whole experience feels like a bait and switch, where the brand recognition gets you in the door, but the actual product quality doesn't match the name anymore. Would you trust a dependable brand that keeps needing repairs? Reputation doesn't match reality anymore. Let's move to number 4. And this one's a budget trap. Taking the number 4 spot, Haier, budget appeal that melts under real use. Haier wants to be your value play. The smart budget buy that gets the job done without the premium price tag. What you actually get is an appliance built to hit a price point, not a performance standard. The materials are cheap and it shows immediately. Thin shelving that bows under normal loads, flimsy door bins that crack if you load them with condiments, and drawer tracks that jam or come off their rails with regular use. Cooling performance is inconsistent. Some units run colder than needed and freeze produce, while others struggle to maintain safe temps for dairy and meat. Noise levels are noticeably higher than competing brands with compressors that hum, rattle, or click loud enough to hear from the next room. Energy efficiency is mediocre at best, which means your savings on the purchase price get eaten by higher electric bills over time. Longevity is the real killer. These refrigerators aren't designed to last a decade. You're looking at 5 to 7 years if you're lucky, and repair parts are hard to find because Haier doesn't have the service network that major brands maintain. The problem with budget appliances is that they often end up costing you more in the long run. Haier positions itself as the practical choice for apartments, rental properties, or first-time homeowners who need something functional without breaking the bank. But when it dies in year 6, and you have to replace the entire unit, you've essentially paid twice while a more reliable brand would still be running. The warranty is short, customer support is minimal, and resale value is non-existent. If you're shopping strictly on price and plan to move or upgrade within a few years, maybe Haier makes sense, but is a long-term investment in your kitchen. It's a false economy that costs more over time than spending a few hundred extra on something built to last. Budget price, budget performance, budget lifespan. Next up, a brand stuck in the past or trying to stay relevant. Coming in at number 3, Kenmore. A name from the past still struggling to stay cool. Kenmore used to mean something. It was Sears' house brand, and for decades, it represented solid, non-nonsense appliances that just worked. Then Sears collapsed and Kenmore became a ghost brand slapped on products made by other manufacturers with zero consistency. The core problem is that Kenmore doesn't guarantee anything anymore. Depending on the model and year, your Kenmore fridge might actually be made by Whirlpool, LG, or Frigidaire, which means you're inheriting all their issues under a different badge. Quality control is all over the place because there's no unified manufacturing standard. Some units perform fine while others fail catastrophically, and there's no way to predict which you'll get. Parts availability is a nightmare because Kenmore doesn't make anything themselves. They just rebrand other companies' products, so when something breaks, you're hunting for OEM parts from the actual manufacturer. Customer service is fragmented and unhelpful because no one really owns the brand anymore. Warranty support is confusing at best and non-existent at worst. Bought a Kenmore bottom freezer model in late 2022. Looked great, priced well. 6 months in, the freezer started building eyes around the door seal. Called for service. Took 3 weeks to get someone out, another 2 weeks for parts. And the fix lasted 4 months before the same problem came back. The Kenmore name tricks people into thinking they're getting a trusted product. But that trust is decades outdated. What you're really buying is a mystery box appliance with no accountability, inconsistent quality, and support that vanished when Sears did. The brand survives purely on nostalgia and name recognition, not on any actual manufacturing capability or quality standards. If you see a Kenmore in the store, what you're really looking at is someone else's refrigerator with a Kenmore badge slapped on it, and you have no idea whose, or whether it's any good. Does brand loyalty matter when the brand barely exists anymore? A name without a backbone? And now number 2, a brand that looks premium but hides problems under the surface. At number 2, GE Appliances. Solid looks hiding some frosty reliability issues. GE Appliances looks like a safe choice on paper. They've got distribution everywhere, a recognizable name, and models that span budget to premium. The problem is that reliability doesn't match the reputation, and ownership reveals cracks in that polished exterior. French door models are plagued with ice maker issues. They freeze up, stop dispensing, or leak water into places it shouldn't go. The fix often requires pulling the entire unit out, defrosting everything manually, and hoping it doesn't happen again in a few months. Spoiler, it usually does. Compressor reliability has been inconsistent across model years, with some owners reporting failures within the first 3 years, despite GE marketing these units as long-lasting. Water filters clog faster than expected, and replacement costs add up. Control boards fail at a higher rate than they should, leaving you with a fridge that can't regulate temperature properly or displays error codes with no clear fix. GE profile models cost significantly more but don't deliver proportional improvements in reliability. You're paying for aesthetics and brand prestige, not better engineering. Customer service is slow to respond, and repairs can take weeks to schedule. Authorized service centers are busy, parts aren't always in stock, and in the meantime, your food is sitting in coolers or spoiling. The issue isn't that every GE fridge is a disaster. Plenty work fine, but the failure rate is high enough that you're taking a real gamble, especially considering the price point. The brand used to represent solid American manufacturing, but now it's owned by Haier, and the quality reflects that corporate transition. What used to be reliable engineering has been cost-optimized into something less durable, less serviceable, and less worthy of the premium pricing GE still commands. Looks dependable until it's not. And finally, number 1, the absolute worst offender on this list. And finally, at number 1, Insignia. The store brand shortcut you'll regret every summer. Insignia is Best Buy's house brand, and it exists for one reason: to hit the lowest possible price point in the category. That's it. No engineering pride, no long-term durability, just a cheap box that cools until it doesn't. These refrigerators are built with the absolute minimum viable components. Compressors are undersized and work harder than they should, which leads to early failures and higher energy costs. Insulation is thin, so the unit struggles to maintain temperature in warm environments and runs constantly trying to keep up. Shelving is flimsy plastic that cracks under normal use. Door seals wear out fast, compromising efficiency and letting cold air escape. Temperature controls are basic and imprecise. meaning you'll deal with frozen lettuce or warm milk depending on the day. The defrost system barely works, leading to frost buildup that requires manual intervention. And forget about features. You get a box, a light, and maybe an ice tray if you're lucky. Picked up an Insignia top freezer model for a garage setup in spring 2023. By July, it was running non-stop and barely keeping things cold. August hit a heat wave and it just gave up. Compressor died. Repair costs more than the fridge was worth. Junked it and bought something real. The brutal truth is that Insignia refrigerators are designed for people who need the cheapest option available and don't care about longevity. They're for dorm rooms, short-term rentals, or situations where you genuinely plan to replace it in a couple years. If you're expecting this to be your primary kitchen fridge for 5+ years, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, spoiled food, and an eventual replacement that costs more than if you just bought something decent up front. Is saving $200 today worth losing $500 in food and dealing with a breakdown next summer? The store brand gamble you'll lose every time. But now, let's talk about the brands that actually earn your money. Now, for the ones that are actually worth it. At number 2, Bosch. Premium precision that quietly outperforms the crowd. Bosch doesn't scream for attention. They don't have flashy smart screens or gimmicky features that break in a year. What they have is German engineering, relentless quality control, and refrigerators that just work quietly, efficiently, and for the long haul. Temperature consistency is where Bosch shines. Their cooling systems maintain precise temps across all compartments, which means your produce stays fresh longer, your dairy doesn't spoil early, and your freezer doesn't turn into an ice cave. The build quality is immediately noticeable. Heavier doors, thicker shelving, metal components where competitors use plastic, and seals that stay tight for years. Bosch fridges run quieter than almost anything else on the market, with compressors and fans designed to minimize noise. Energy efficiency is excellent across the board, translating to lower electric bills without sacrificing performance. Ice makers, when included, actually work reliably. No constant jamming, no leaks, no manual defrosting. The interior layouts are thoughtful and flexible, with adjustable shelving and storage that adapts to real-world use. Longevity is another major advantage. Bosch refrigerators routinely run for 15+ years with minimal maintenance. Compressors are overbuilt for durability, not just sized to hit minimum specs. When repairs are needed, which is rare, parts are available and service is professional. Customer support is responsive and warranty claims are handled without the runaround. The price point is higher than mass-market brands, but the value over time is undeniable. You're paying more upfront to avoid the constant repairs, replacements, and frustrations that plague cheaper options. Bosch isn't trying to win you over with marketing hype. They're banking on the fact that a reliably cold refrigerator that lasts 15 years sells itself once word gets out. And it does. Premium price, premium performance, and the peace of mind that it'll still be running when the trends change. And taking the number 1 spot, Mag, built tough, runs cold, and earns every dollar. Maytag has one job: keep your food cold without drama. No smart screens, no Wi-Fi connectivity, no ice fears for your cocktails. Just rock-solid reliability that outlasts the competition and backs it up with a 10-year compressor warranty that actually means something. The build quality is immediately apparent. These refrigerators feel substantial. Heavy doors, sturdy shelving, thick walls, and components that are clearly designed to last. Mate uses commercial-grade compressors that are overbuilt for residential use, which means they run cooler, quieter, and longer than the competition. Temperature regulation is rock-solid consistent, which is the entire point of a refrigerator. Freezers maintain proper temps without frost buildup. Crisper drawers keep produce fresh for days longer than flimsier units. Shelving can handle full gallons of milk and heavy casserole dishes without bowing or cracking. The finish is durable and resists smudges, dents, and scratches better than competitors. Mate doesn't waste money on gimmicks. They put their budget into engineering materials and quality control, the stuff that matters when you're storing $300 worth of groceries. Ice makers work reliably when included, but many owners skip them entirely because they don't need another potential failure point. Water dispensers, when present, are simple and functional. Controls are straightforward and don't require a manual to figure out. Everything about the design prioritizes function over flash. The 10-year compressor warranty isn't a marketing trick. It's a signal that Mag knows their product will last. They're not hedging their bets with short warranties and hoping you forget. Customer service is responsive, parts are available, and repairs are rare enough that most owners never need to call. Resale value holds better than almost any other brand because people know these fridges outlive their kitchens. Do you want features that break, or a fridge that just works for the next decade? Tough, dependable, and still running long after the flashy brands gave up. There you have it, the brands to avoid in the two that actually earn your trust. Don't fall for flashy features and fading legacy names. Hit subscribe, and we'll keep breaking down what's real, what's risky, and what's actually worth your hard-earned